Thank you all for joining us tonight. Good evening-ish. Thank you. We're going to start with just going over some of our philosophies here at VSA. I'm going to kind of run through our teaching practices, why we believe what we believe. And I want to start first with talking about the pandemic learning loss. I think it's not big news for parents and students alike that they've, missed a lot between the last 2 years. We've been going through a lot of learning loss due to school closures. These articles here, they show from New York Times and very, very high magazines or articles that have talked about how much we've lost and how much learning has been lost because of changes from our virtual learning or changes that have happened during the school closures and such things like that. So our goal when we talk about our pandemic losses is to kind of really look at some of the work that is driving our lessons and driving our philosophy as to why we're doing this. If we look at these two charts, just looking at both of them about how much learning that has been lost, especially during COVID, if you look at the first one. And then if you just look at the second one, between the span of such a short amount of time where we see that plumb happening in the learning of our students. And, within the short amount of time, this has occurred, and a lot of times people say, oh, the shift between the learning and virtual, that's what's happening. But here, when we look at this loss, it's really, really just a very steep curve. And we really need to build our learning and our teaching based on how this curve has kind of shown us what the next steps are. So if we continue moving forward with them, we can see how our goal and our vision at VSA is kind of I would say curved around both of them, right? We're looking at our vision of how we overcome this loss of COVID, but then it's not just looking at the loss, but we want to make sure that we are building, analytical thinkers, clear writers. We're building and enriching academic skills that our students can then take and build upon, and they can learn upon this, whether it's in English, writing, public speaking, mathematical concepts, or data analysis. We want to make sure that we're building these students to give them the skills and also look at the learning loss. So there are two things that are happening at the same time, and we want to make sure that we're doing both of them and we're approaching our students with this need for what it is that they need to keep moving forward, So as we continue again looking at these well-rounded student profiles, we're looking at every aspect of it, right? We're looking at our students academically, we're looking at our scores, we're looking at them, how they are intellectually curious. What are the different things that make our students' profile? And we have to address the academics. Everything else comes together, but academics is a huge part for students. They spend majority of the time in the classroom, or they spend majority of their time learning the core values and core skills. So we cannot avoid that part of the student, even though everything else is just as important. We have to focus on that. And as we move forward with this idea of what does each student need, or what exactly are the goals of a student, we here at VSA are really, really catering towards this growth and fixed mindset, right? So we're looking at a student as a whole. How can we give them the tools? How can we give them the skills necessary, both academically and the way they process, or both in a way that they approach materials, right? And we want to make sure that we are moving them towards a growth mindset, that they're looking at something and they're saying failure is an opportunity to grow, or okay, I received feedback on something and I need to try it again. How is that a good thing? How can I approach that in a much more positive way and not just say, oh, my teacher gave me this feedback and I'm done. Like, I'm tired of it and I only did it once and I'm one and done. And with the way we teach our classes, we really want to make sure that we're fostering this growth mindset. The students are able to take these skills and able to say, okay, I can come back to my writing, or I can come back to my reading and my math feedback, and I can keep growing and I can achieve more and more. So that's something that we're really, really focused on, is one of ways our lessons are geared towards as well. And then we also want to make sure that as we go through this, how is it that we do that? How do we say, or how do you foster a child to say, I received a feedback, or I received something that I might not be happy with first. How can I continue doing more? How can I get myself up again and say, I want to do more? And for that to occur, we look at some of these steps here. And I just want to kind of talk about this idea of embracing imperfectionness, and this idea that we can take our work and we can take our work that we might not have done the best on, and we can still say, okay, I can come back to this. And it's not just an academic skill. That's such a valuable life skill as well, that all of these things that we are teaching, either with our writing process, or we're looking at it through a math problem, whether it's through lessons that our wonderful teachers are giving, these are skills more that they are learning as we move through all of our work that we do here at VSA. So it's such an important skill that you have alongside with academics, I think, that we kind of like to foster here. And it's crucial to student learning and student processing. Oh, thank you. One of the things that is extremely vital in our lesson planning, in our lesson administering that we do here at VSA, is looking at activating the learning pyramid. A lot of the work drives behind this learning theory pyramid. And that is, if you look at the bottom part of it, is much more that has to do with discussion group, practice by doing, and teaching others. And we want to make sure that our students are given opportunities to look at all of them. Lecturing and reading and demonstration is one part of it, and it's a small part of it, right? And we make sure we have valuable teachers that are enriching these skills. However, we also give our students a lot of time where they are practicing by doing, practice that's monitored, practice where feedback is given. So, these are valuable skills, and these are studied methods that show and they prove that it improves retention, it improves learning experiences, and we are very, very aware of what it is that we need to do to foster that. So these lessons are built around these methods of learning that are proven to work and proven to help our students grow. Something else that we also look at is the spiral learning method. And this is such a crucial method because, a lot of times, if you look at math, topics build, if you look at reading, processes build. And our students sometimes are, oh, I'm done and I don't need to come back to this. And with this spiral learning method, what it does is that it hones and fosters the skills that it goes into their long term. We start with the process, you learn another topic, but then you review the topic that you have done in the past. And what that does is, one, it teaches the students, okay, skills are built upon, right? Whether it's reading skills or math concepts, that's one thing it teaches them. And then the second thing it also does is it gives them the opportunity to keep coming back to these topics. So they're able to remember them, they're able to use them as they move forward, they're able to register them more. So it's another method that we have in our skills. So we are always aware of, okay, we're at this level, this is where our student needs to be, and this is the method that they need to keep moving forward. So it's a big part of the lesson planning, it's a big part of the teaching that we do here at VSA. If you could move to, thank you. One of the things that we're also looking at are, these scholastic awards that our students are proud to be winners of. These are rigorous awards that they're not easy to attain. Thousands and thousands of applications come through. These students are honed in the skills that they do, and we encourage them and we make sure that we give them the skills that they need. We give them the practice that they need, that they can, apply to these things. And, these are, not only do they build students' ability to try out things that they want to do, it also shows that, the skills that they're learning are valuable and they yield results. And again, these are fantastic awards that our students have been, applying to, they've been winning. So it's been really great to have that for us. And then for our summer learning, we will be looking at studies in English and math. We will also be using this so students can catch up and advance in for their next grade. So public schools are usually closed for 9 to 10 weeks. That is a very big time for students to summer slide, whether it's if they're moving up from 4th to 5th or 5th to 6th, that's a big gap of learning that they're losing. And we need to make sure here that our camp schedule is designed in a way that our students can balance that, right? That they're not losing that slide. They're able to keep up with the academics that they need. They make sure we give them the self-confidence and the leadership skills. And our camp is designed to help students balance that. It's between academics, because of course, summer and academics, sometimes it doesn't sound right, but we need it. We need to make sure, that our students are balancing that and the other activities. So if we continue moving forward and we look at our virtual classes, they're designed with that in mind. You know, they're intimate classes of 4 to 12 students. We have one-on-one teachers and assistants in every class. And our TAs are there to help our students if there's any technological issues. So they're quick on their feet so the teacher can continue doing the work of teaching. The teacher can focus on what the students need. And again, we need this so that our students are engaged. It's a time where they do need to balance out both that academic part, and they also need to make sure that we provide that for them. If they're there, we have to do that. And our staff is there to make sure that they don't miss any classes. They're reminding students if there's any issues that are happening. Our teachers are extremely skilled in making sure that our students are active, that participating. We have teachers that are coming through that are highly trained. And we here at VSA are a rigorous and highly skilled program where we're making sure that our students are receiving the best, whether it comes with the materials that we're curating to keep them in mind, or whether it's the teachers that are providing that, so everyone is aware of what it is that's needed. And our classes have key one-on-one time. And I think this is very, very crucial because our Zoom breakout rooms are there to meet with students to discuss their progress, to help them understand feedback, to help them make sure that they are interacting with the material that's happening. Our chat function can, make sure that students are there and they're one-on-one aware, privately aware, so they don't feel that they're being called out or anything like that. And we are on top of what it is that our students need. And they're very effective because, our students can tell that, okay, what I'm doing is being seen, what I'm doing is valuable, and the teacher is there to make sure that they know this. So it's a key part of the work that we do here. And as we move through our, seamless virtual learning, the result is where students are really, really learning. We have honed our classes with different formats, different lessons, and we're using online platforms that are making us aware of exactly what our students need, so we can see in live what they need. We have, families that receive all the materials in Dropboxes with schedules, information. It's very, very organized. It's very, very smooth running. So everyone is aware of what it is that's happening in the classroom. Students can go back and see what lessons, or what, if they have homework, what it is that they need. So it is no way, shape or form is it just, they log in and that's it, they're done. It is very, very geared towards making sure that the students are learning, making sure that the teachers are there to monitor progress and to monitor growth and monitor areas of strength and weaknesses alike. And if we can look at our camp schedule over here, we have, running from June 27th to August 19th. And we have 2 different groups, and if you look at the way our schedules are, we have designated breaks, both for grade 1 to 2 and 3 to 8, because we want to make sure that our students are up and moving when they need to, and they're able to they're able to up and move, so they're not just in front of the screen. So when they come back, they're back and they're focused. Our gym breaks are designed with different forms of active classes, whether they're doing Zumba, whether they're doing yoga. There is an instructor there that's trained and that's available to do this via Zoom, and they are moving. So they get that break that they need. And, it's just as important as being in front of the camera and doing the work that they need to do. So it's a great schedule that's built in with students in mind.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you about our grades 3 through 8 writing curriculum and all the things that it encompasses. So during the summer camp, our daily English and writing classes are 45 minutes long. We have 10 minutes of word study and vocabulary practice, and then 35 minutes of full-on writing instruction and practice. Students view an interactive slideshow where they can engage and answer questions in real time. The teacher can see all of their answers at once. And then we also have an online writing platform that Miss Amy spoke about before, but students get real-time feedback. I love this program. I can see everything that students are doing exactly as they're doing it. So you can really help them in the moment, just as if you were in person in the classroom. And each week, can you go back one more? Sorry. Each week, students are introduced to a new writing genre, and they get to take a piece of writing through the writing process every single week. So it keeps it interesting, keeps them engaged. It is the summer. but they do get a really in-depth view and also some really great practice. So all the components of reading and writing are important to us. We have phonics that we obviously focus on in the lower grades. And then as we get into 3 through 8, we really focus on vocabulary, grammar, and reading. Strong vocabulary helps students be better writers. Grammar helps students express themselves more clearly. And reading, which we also practice, make sure that we're exposing children to different voices, different styles, different genres. All of these things together are the heart of writing and make students better writers. So one thing that we do focus on is vocabulary. At VSA, we try to make sure that we are doing whatever our students need. And so a couple of weeks ago, we had a diagnostic for over 100 students to really see where they were with their vocabulary practice. And so it is something that we do emphasize. For example, we teach students Greek and Latin root words so that they're not only learning words like dehydrate and aquatic, but they're learning the actual root of the word so that if they come to a word that has this exact root in it, like aqua, they know what it means. So this is a sample vocabulary lesson that students would see where we're going through the Greek and Latin root words. So today we're going to be learning the 3 Latin root words today. And all of these Latin root words have to do with the body. So capit or sippit, meaning head, manu, meaning hand, and ped, meaning foot. I'm sure you're already thinking about words that have these roots in them that make sense to you. So some of the words that we're going to be talking about are captivate, precipitation, capitulate, manual, manipulate, manuscript, maneuver, pedestrian, impede, and pedestal. We are going to start by looking at the definitions and looking at the sentence in context. So for example, the word capable is an adjective, meaning having the ability to accomplish something, or competent. With kind hearts and friends along the way, they were capable of doing anything. And impede is a verb meaning to slow the movement, progress, or action of someone or something. And in context, he had no torch, but darkness did not impede his progress into venturing the dark cave. Now, we are going to sort the words from the lesson into the table below. And then we're going to see if we can think of other words that have these roots, because there are many other than the ones that we mentioned. And we really want to think about what their part of speech is. And here is where we'd have conversations about the words that we would use, and they would sort them together with us in class, right on the slides with us, so we could see in real time what students are doing. And then we would do more practice of filling in the blank, or true and false. There's tons of different activities that we do. We also teach students analogies, which is fantastic for test preparation. As they get older into upper grades, we like to start them young, and analogies can be really fun for kiddos to do. So that was just an example of what we might do for vocabulary. My heart and soul is in our writing curriculum. I have coordinated a lot of it, and I truly believe that it is engaging for children and it gets results. So we have a text-based writing curriculum. Our reading writing curriculum is designed to make students better writers, but also just foster a love of reading, get them to be confident in their voices, confident in their writing voice, confident in their speaking voice. Students are exposed to diverse and complex texts that they're not going to see in school. And students are having discussions about these texts, and their essays are allowing them to really go into deep analysis, deep, well-written analysis. So just an example, we always make sure that students are planning using a graphic organizer. We like to give them a variety of graphic organizers to show that they can be flexible in organizing their thinking. And then this is an example of real-time feedback that students get on essays. So students will be able to see, as they go through their writing, all of the feedback. The program that we use also highlights it within the text. It's really clear for students to see, just as if a teacher was marking their paper in person, except it's a lot easier for teachers to get to more students at once on the computer than I think it's easier than it is in person. It's quicker and students get feedback a lot faster. We focus a lot on revisions. Revisions are so important, and we truly teach students how to revise without the teacher. That's our goal at the end of the day, is for them to be able to revise without a teacher. And so we're teaching them how to do revisions on their own and supporting them in that knowledge. And so as you can see, this student had a first draft. They got a lot of teacher feedback, and through that teacher feedback and through their hard work, they were able to get to the final draft on the right-hand side. So some sample essays, we've got a 3rd grade essay here and a 5th grade essay here. We really focus on making sure that students understand essay structure and organization and paragraphs, topic sentences, everything that they possibly need, so that even in 3rd grade, students are producing paragraph-based essays.
Thank you all for joining tonight. I hope you've been enjoying all the presentations so far. So public speaking is a huge part of VSA, and especially during the summer, during the school year, you might be prioritizing math and reading and writing. So the summer is a great opportunity for you to enroll your child in the public speaking classes. And of course, during our camp, it's integrated every day. So Monday through Thursday, they'll be able to have a 45-minute public speaking class. And throughout the week, we choose one skill to focus on, so it's not too overwhelming, and they can become a master of that skill. And every week they write a speech, they practice it every single day out loud to their classmates and to the teacher. They share feedback, and then we do a final presentation for the speech every Thursday. So throughout the summer, they'll be able to write and present many speeches. So public speaking is a very important skill that unfortunately a lot of students don't have the opportunity to practice that much, but public speaking is important from the young students all the way up to middle school. It really prepares them for anything from just being more confident to raise their hand in class, to standing in front of a class or an auditorium to give a presentation, to eventually, being a leader and wanting to lead another group of students by using their voices. So it really prepares them for all aspects of their life, not just for the classroom, but also for their futures and just giving them more confidence overall in themselves. So we have a video of a 4th grade student, and we'll get to listen to a little bit of her speech.
Hi, my name is Claire Hong. Today I'm going to be talking about my infomercial speech. There are so many things in the world that you can use to decorate a classroom. For example, plants, small areas like beanbag chairs and more, posters, etc. And at the end, it may not even look like a classroom. First of all, I would put a few beanbag chairs in a circle and add like a table with fun bouncy chairs too. I'll do that because sometimes students need to go into small groups and discuss. It would be very boring if they just sat on the hard floor. I would feel exceptionally comfortable and relaxed to talk. Another thing I would do is put all the students' project and work on the walls, and put up inspirational posters too. It's good to decorate the wall with projects because the students feel more like it's home. It would also be good for everyone to see our artwork that sometimes we never get to share. We should also put up fun and inspiring posters because sometimes some of the students might feel sad. If they look on the wall and at the posters, it might cheer us up. For example, posters like "Don't give up" or "Be happy," just something that makes the students happy.
So showing the success of our public speaking program is best shown through one of our students. So as you can see through that video, her confidence, she had wonderful tone, she had great hand gestures to pull her audience in. So that is a great example of what we're working towards in these classes. So one aspect that we really focus on is self-advocating and making sure that our students have the confidence to do so. I had one student who just started with me in December, and he would come and I would say, "Oh, are you ready to share your speech?" And he would slump down in his chair and say, "Okay." Not very excited, but now just from a few weeks of practicing standing up nice and tall, doing different activities to get him to be more comfortable, now he's giving feedback on other students' speeches and is always very animated when he speaks. So this is a huge focus for us of just that self-advocating. We also focus, in addition to Obviously, they'll be having the reading and writing classes that Miss Emily spoke about. But with public speaking, writing speeches is very different than writing an essay. We want to make sure they have a greeting to start with, that they close, that they are more interactive and engaging. So we also focus on writing speeches throughout our program as well. We have templates for students to choose from. As you can see from these two topics, we have a wide variety of topics for them to choose from that are always very engaging and encourage them to share their opinions and be in respectful ways. And it always leads to really good and strong conversation. So after we write our speeches, we focus on two things. The first is building that stage presence. So we always talk about in our public speaking classes of the power of being able to pull your listeners in, pull your audience in, make sure that everyone's focused on you. So while they give their speeches, we focus on body language and tone and just that aura of confidence that they can give off to ensure that they have that strong stage presence in front of an audience. In addition to that, we also focus on active listening. So while their classmates are giving speeches, we talk about what good audience members do, what do they look like, what are they listening for. So while they're not giving their own speech or presenting their own speech, they're able to practice that active listening skill and listen to their classmates and practice being a good audience member, which is just as important. So like I mentioned earlier, every week we focus on one skill in particular, and that allows students to become a master of that one skill. And obviously they're all interwoven and we build on top of them every single week. So these are a few skills that we focus on. The first one is eye contact. This is always very difficult for everyone, kids and adults alike, because you really have to have the confidence to do that. So the way we build these skills is we do teacher demos. What does good eye contact look like? What does bad eye contact look like? We watch videos of other presenters and we do a variety of activities. And then like this slide depicts, we also talk about just the importance of eye contact and how does it add to a speech. Another skill we focus on is pacing. When students or when anyone is nervous, you always talk faster. So we focus on making sure that you have intentional breathing, maybe between paragraphs, stop to take a breath after a question, pause for a few seconds to let your audience answer that question in their mind. So all of these things we encourage our students to think about. And we also add in things like tone and volume. Obviously, there are so many skills, so that's why we focus on one specifically at a time. But obviously, we're always talking about that building and that spiral model like Ms. Monica spoke about earlier. And then the last main skill that we focus on is body language. And this also includes having interesting hand gestures, as you see many presenters use when we're talking in our normal life. We're always moving and using our hands to speak and to show what we're saying. And then also making sure that our facial expressions match what we're saying. And with these activities to practice body language, we always make sure that we have our students stand up while they're presenting their speech. And this gives them more confidence for when they have to stand in front of their class at school or for anything in their lives where they have to stand in front of people. So even just this simple act of practicing standing up, it really does a lot for the confidence in our students. And one of my favorite parts about our public speaking classes is, in addition to every student presenting their speech every class, and also practicing being an active listener, they also have the opportunities to critique and give feedback to their classmates. So since we have small classes, everyone is able to present at least once and give feedback. Most public speaking classes, the teacher always gives feedback, and then one of the students gives feedback as well to every classmate. And this really allows them, I think everyone's heard that phrase of, if you really know something, try to teach it. And the students with the feedback, they're really able to do that. So I know some of my students, if they're stronger with eye contact, they might point that out and say, oh, I really love your body language, but you might be able to practice your eye contact a little bit more. So it helps them give respectful feedback, identify what that student can improve. And then of course, it shows their own knowledge and mastery of public speaking as well.
Just going to run us through our grades 3 to 8 math curriculum, the activities, and how we kind of schedule our math classes. So I'm going to start with the format. We do daily 45-minute classes where we have 30 to 35 minutes for instruction, and then we have practice that's monitored, where the students are using interactive platforms where the teacher can again see what the work is being done. We can track the progress. One of the things that I want to point out that each week students are introduced to 1 to 2 new skills. And the reason why we do this is because we want to make sure that the students are exposed to an array of skills. And we're not just taking the same skills and doing them over and over again. It gives the students exposure to what's coming for the next grade. It gives the students exposure or practice in skills that they may need through the diagnostic. So we're looking through this as we look at our format. So our students are getting multiple math disciplines, and then they're getting the complexity of the skills as well for that week. So that's a big key point for our math class format. One of the things that we start our classes with is a speed test. I think it's a great way to kind of build momentum. It's a great way to get the kids really excited because we do time it. We have 60 seconds. I have a big timer so the students can see and they can hear it. And it's very, very effective because it gets them to kind of get into that mental math mode again. It gets them up, it gets their mind racing and working, and they become really excited to see how well they do. So when we go back and we review the work, they're able to see where they are. They can able to self-evaluate themselves, and they get to give it their all. So it's a fantastic way to get our math classes started, and it gets the kids very excited to do this portion of the class. And then as we move through our classes, we look at practices where teachers can see what the student is doing. So if you look on the screen, you get to see the example of exactly what those platform looks like. So this online platform lets the teacher see in live what every problem looks like, what the work is being shown, how the students are handling the problems, where the mistakes are being made. And it's a great live tool that kind of lets us know exactly where our students are, what are skills that we need to revisit, what are things that we can move forward with. So it's a great way for them to complete exercises because they get to be creative with the draw features and things like that. But we also get to see their progress and their strengths and weaknesses, like we've mentioned earlier. Our live platforms, when they're doing practice work, are geared towards results. So we can see what problems students need support in, what areas do they need support, are they staying on track, and are they doing the practice skills, because math requires a lot of practice. And if we're doing this on an online platform, we want to make sure that we can see them live and we can see what it is that they're doing. So it's a great way to monitor skills. It's a great way to monitor specific questions that they may need support with. And we have a great tool that lets us know exactly where our students are through this. So there's not a minute where when the students are practicing where they're left to be at their own agent. We are constantly aware of what it is they're doing and what their academic goal and what their academic progress is. Our curriculum is, we're just looking at some example of 3/5 and algebra. Like I said earlier, we want to make sure we expose them to multiple ranges of mathematical concepts. And then, like, for example, our goal for 3rd grade is we do want them to know the multiplication tables. As we move through algebra or we come back to 5th grade, we want to expose them to different factors, radicals, or geometry work that they will be encountering, in classes. And we want to give them that exposure so they're prepared. We want to give them if they need skill sets that they need practice with, we give them those tools so they're ready. And again, to address that summer slide, like we said earlier, we want to avoid that, with math concepts build, and we want to make sure that we are doing that even with our students, and we avoid that academic slip that we have been focusing throughout this presentation. For example, if you look here, we're looking at a perimeter work for grade 2, and you can see what the slides look like. You can see how the students are interacting, how the teacher is reviewing concepts again. The teacher is showing them exactly how it's done. They can do this in live time with the students. They can see how each concept is building as well. And, this is just an example for grade 2. As we move forward with the work, they're able to monitor all of that through these presentations. For example, looking through another keyword is the division practice. So again, we come back and we give them different methods to solve a problem. We're giving them different directions, different forms. So it's not only just do this type of problem, but they're also giving them word problems. We're giving them the language of what it means to have a quotient or a dividend or a divisor. So it's a full range of concepts where they are aware of what it is that they need to do and what they need to build upon in math. And they get to see all of this through different mediums. They get to see all of this through different practices. Our real number line work, again, these are just short examples of some of the slides that we work through, some of the concepts that we work through, but they're very thorough, and it gives our students the opportunity to see everything in real life. It gives our teachers the opportunity to show whether it's, I'm teaching you the number line, where it is on it. It's a very visual medium. So, they're not just talking through these concepts, they're able to visualize, and they're able to show our students, here's what I'm talking about. Here's where I can show you using the tools that I have, that this is where the origin is, and this is where the negative or the positive number is. And they get to see all of this in real time. So the student is not just constantly listening, but they're also able to see, they have this in front of them. They're able to see it, and they're able to ask questions through chat. They're able to understand the concepts using these methods. Continuing forward, if you look at another example of visual inequalities, so you can see how the lessons are building with the starting with the number line or the division work. We are constantly building upon it, and they get to see how each of these concepts are so important. They get to visualize these concepts, and then they get to get the definitions and the proper work of these concepts. So we start very much at the basic form of the concept, where the teacher can explain it, they can model the work, and then the students are, as you saw with the earlier slides, they can practice in real time. So it's very much a quick feedback work where students are able to do that. And I think with math, it's fantastic that we have this opportunity for the students to do this, because you want to be able to catch where we are, lacking in the concept work, or do we need to do more practice work? What are some essential skills that they still need to go back and review? And coming back to that spiral method that we talked about, right? This idea of showing a new concept, practicing an old one. So we're continuously aware of how we present these materials and what mediums we need to use to do that. Are looking at another example of a transitional rules. Again, we're building concepts again, right? We're looking at how our students are reviewing a material, which is on translation. And then what new work is there? What is something that we need to show them where they can connect the past concept to the present concept? So it's a very well-rounded curriculum where our students are being aware of all of the different skills that they need. They're also aware of how topics are building on each other, because our teachers are making sure that they can tell, okay, this is connected to this past work, and here's the example that I'm going to show you through. Okay, so for our Friday fun, every Friday it looks a little bit different, where we take a break a little bit from the academic, and then we kind of expose our students to different range of activities. So we start with gym time, which they're exploring, whether it's the yoga, the Zumba, the different form of physical exercises. They're doing fun with science, chess, and arts. And, the people that are working with them, the educators and the people and artists that are working with them, are very well versed in what they're teaching. So, the students are going to be taught these things, and they're going to be able to do creative work, and they're able to kind of really take that Friday and really turn it into something fun yet engaging and academic, and a fun learning environment for them that they can do. And there's a different range of activities that we expose them to. Something for Friday fun, I think that we really like, if we move forward with the slides, Ms. Jennifer, is, we look at our global speaker series. Thank you. And this is really great because we invite speakers that are not always just educators, but speakers that are working in law, science, art, business, a range of careers. And these people come, they present to our students, they present their journey, they present their educational background. And the best part of this is that they get to interact with our students. Our students get to ask questions. They get to ask, what are some things that you can actually show us in real time? And I always think that this is a great thing that we do, because, sometimes when an educator or when a teacher is speaking to the students, they think, like he or she is just saying it. Like they're just saying it to say it. But when they see people that are, working in these fields in real time, it opens their minds and they understand exactly what is out there in the world. What are things that people are doing and what do they need to do to engage in this? So it's a really great speaker series that we do, inviting these wonderful people to come and speak to our students. And like I said, there are in a range of things. It's not just, people that are working in weather science and engineering, but we have lawyers, designers, game designers, 3D artists, organizers. So it's a range of fields that and careers that our students get exposed to. And it's very, very enlightening for our students. And they engage in wonderful dialogue. And these speakers come in and they answer our questions that our students have. And it's a very great learning experience for them. All right, I'm just going to go over some frequently asked questions. And then if you have more questions, we'll stay back and we'll also answer those. So just some general questions that you might have about class ratio. For our first to second grade class sizes, we're 4 to 8 students. And then third grade and up, we do have 4 to 12 students with 1 teacher and a teacher assistant, which is always present for any technical issues or anything that our students may need right away. So they're always there to help. And our camp teachers are extremely qualified. They go through a rigorous process. Ms. Julia has very high standards for her teachers, and she makes sure that whoever is doing the work with the students are the best that the students deserve. And everyone goes through a rigorous selection process. And we have teachers that are ranging from 4 to 18 years of experiences, winning multiple teaching awards. So they are really there for the students and they know what they're doing. How the students are placed, we have new students take diagnostic tests, which I've mentioned a little bit earlier. What that diagnostic does is it really gives us an idea about what are skill sets that our students need, whether it's English, whether it's math, and we place them in classes that are well suited for them, which sometimes might not happen in school. So we really make sure that we give our students what they need and we meet them at that level. In terms of homework, first and second grade campers do not have any homework. For third grade, we do have writing assignments that we ask them to complete. And we do have public speaking practices, so if they are working on a speech for that week, they are expected to practice those speeches. For math, we like to keep things live and in class so we get to see those practices in real time. So there's no math homework. In terms of how to register for camp, we're signing up before March 15th. We're also giving a great 35% off. So, you can also decide the weeks that you want to do before April 30th of this upcoming month. So we highly, highly recommend that you take us up on this offer. And these are just some wonderful testimonials from our past campers, past camp parents about their experiences with us, and what they like about the work that we do. And I'll let you guys kind of read that on your own. Our link below will also give us what our teachers are. We can learn about them. You can see a brief presentation of each of the teachers, their experiences, and you can hear from them firsthand. So Ms. Julia, if you have more to add to that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate you taking your time out. If you could look at this wonderful slide about all of the information in terms of contact, where to register for camp, how you can save more, and all of the wonderful things that we have to offer at VSA, please, please, please check us out on these links below. Thank you.